Okay, wardrobe here. And I want to do a quick, well, I don't actually know if it's going to be quick, video about just the haul I got from my trip, McMurray and I trip to West Virginia to go visit our online, now in-person buddy, Jeff from Hex to Hex. Go check out his channel. The goal of the trip, well, was to meet in person, but to go visit tour battlefields, ACW battlefields. And I would say mission accomplished. And in addition, of course, we had to buy some things and trade some things and share some things. So we did that. All right, so we left on a Thursday and got back on a Wednesday. So 1 week away. Quite a trip. McMurray and I drove out there, stayed someplace, stayed in Richmond. I think it was Richmond, Indiana/Ohio, New Richmond, Ohio. I think that's the name of the town, where there was a Uranus fudge shop there that's named after the one that's here in Uranus, Missouri, or Uranus, Missouri. So it's very hilarious. I've sent fudge from there to Jeff before. It's a fun thing. It's really, I've never had the fudge because I usually can't eat it. But Jeff liked it, and so we bought some there for him and surprised him with it because that was a fun little stop. So we spent the night on Thursday night and then drove through to Friday. Saturday we went to Kernstown and 3rd Winchester. Sunday took a break because we wore them out, and it was a good break. And there we kind of played some games, set up some games where we did some printing and some basing. It was a nice, relaxing day. And then Monday was Gettysburg. Tuesday was Antietam. And Wednesday we drove 12, 14 hours home. And I'm glad we did because it was really raining today, this morning, but it's been really nice to be home, get stuff done, getting laundry done. In fact, I just finished laundry almost, so that's cool. So a couple things. There's been oh shoot, I don't know if I posted. I did not post it. I'm going to have to post it. So Jeff taught, so we played, let's see here. Games, I started to solo, so when I got there, Jeff had set up an ASL starter kit scenario, and he set it up, let's say a month ago, I don't know how long, and just hadn't got to it. You know how it goes. You set up a game, you're all excited, and then stuff distracts you, and you're like, oh man, I don't know. So it was still sitting there all ready to go, set up, and I was like, well, I'll play it. So I just cranked through that scenario for him one night, and that was funny. So that was the night that you saw a short or maybe even a live stream where I'm playing that. McMurray's painting and basing and printing, and Jeff's playing Moscow 41. So that was pretty fun. But it was good. I mean, because we're kind of doing the stuff we do. We're all hanging out together, so that was cool. Also, Jeff taught me a couple turns of GBACW. He knows that system real well. We were going to play a scenario of like Winchester or Kernstown, but he decided, and I think rightly, that we should just avoid that and set up a little scenario for us to play. So we just had 3 brigades against 3 brigades, just to learn some of the basics without having to worry about all the special scenario rules, which I think is good. And I don't know if GBACW has that, but I think that's a smart plan because, you get scenarios, you do start to get all kinds of, or you just design a scenario. And frankly, I don't even care if it's real, like ours wasn't. It was kind of based around Kernstown, sort of. We used the same troops from then and kind of the same principle, but made up kind of situation. I was not going to win that fight. I could tell that. I was Union. He was, was I Confederates? I think I was Confederates attacking Union. I don't remember. Anyway, played that. I set up Longstreet Attacks in Longstreet Attacks to play the little round top, but then I ended up tearing that down because just time, energy, all that stuff. And while Jeff watched the Capitals play hockey, Andrew and I played across 5 Aprils, Gettysburg, and got through a first turn, and I believe I did. Yes, I posted a video about that. That was fun, nice and simple. Got us playing a game. It just got late. It was Tuesday night when we were getting ready to leave the next day, and so we tore down. All right, that's the summary of that. Let's talk about the haul. So we took some games to Jeff. He gave us a few games we talked about. I think McMurray got most of the board games and stuff. Just some stuff that Jeff's not going to play. Got Good stuff. I just don't remember what they are. And I don't think I actually came. Oh, I came back with. I should. I don't think. Oh yeah. So I came back with this. So it's not really a haul, but I had themes from Library Napoleonic Battles. I ended up sending it to Jeff because he and the cards, so he could have. I don't know, for whatever. And he already has a copy, so he has two. So I've now since then again started playing, understand it, liking it. So I asked him if I could have the themes back, but I'll probably end up maybe buying that anyway. So I'll have it again. But he kept the card. I had told him to keep the cards because I now have some in some other games I have. So that's cool. So it's kind of a haul. I got my game back. That's kind of how we do things. We kind of hold stuff. The other kind of non-Civil War thing I want to talk about is this. So we went to the Gettysburg toy. Is it called Toy Shop or something? It's very famous on the corner, kind of on this sharp. Like 3-way, 4-way corner. Well, I guess every corner's anyway. And they sell, used board games and stuff. Yeah, I paid way too much money for it, but it was fun to buy it there. They had a lot of cool minis that were bagged, some neat stuff, some GHQ that was painted. Their prices support their business, which is good. But they were a little high. But this is cool, a little nostalgic. And I don't have a kind of a flat pack Avalon Hill game like this, so it was fun to get. And so it's fun. I'll play it for sure. But I picked that up, and fun times. McMurray picked up some minis. I think Jeff picked up a British Flames of War box. So that's that. That's non-Civil War stuff. I picked up these stickers for my Forerunner, Shenandoah Valley. Got that at Winchester. I kind of wish it had said Winchester, but that's cool. I just have to remember that. 3rd Winchester. Nice sticker there. Antietam, of course. Nice and big. Thenceforth and forever free. Great. And then Gettysburg, of course. Had to get that. So these will go along with my Pea Ridge ones. I can't decide if I should put them all together or two on one side and 2 on the other or something. So I feel like putting Gettysburg and Pea Ridge together because they look the same, and putting these over on this side. Someone's compensating here. Anyway, all their stickers, I didn't like the other one. I wish I could have got some at Kernstown, but their sticker I wasn't sure it would stay. I've had stickers before that just shred, and these all seem to have the good coating. But that Kernstown one I was a little concerned about. Oh, shoot, there was another non-Civil War thing. So those are stickers. That was kind of an important mission. Now, there's these. Now you're like, what the heck? Ignore the Pacific War there behind it. I just got that recently and was setting up and looking at it. All right, so this is ASL. If you look at Lone Canuck Publishing, LCP, Lone Canuck Publishing, they make scenario packs and some counters, but usually just scenario packs and maps for ASL. Well, they make scenario packs for ASL, and they also do hassles, which are historic ASLs, which is when you design a map that looks just like it. Usually use geomorphic boards, so it's kind of a super approximation. This is a closer approximation to the land of the battle that you're simulating. And so I bought a few of their stuff. It's pretty cool. Fairly small packs. The maps always look great. But then they have something on their website called ASL for Fun. And he and his local buddies, because he's got all the design software and all that stuff, and he just thinks about scenarios, he's always trying stuff and gaming with these huge scenarios and making the maps. And he provides the maps for free for Vassal, and then which you can download and print, if you can find a printer or have access to something. And so Mr. Hex to Hex was super nice. I sent him a few files. I sent him a bunch of files, but some of them didn't turn out great, he said. So I probably just sent him the wrong file or something, because sometimes there's 2 different sizes. And he says on his site, these aren't play tested thoroughly. They just get them. It's almost like, to me, if this feels like a miniatures game. And I thought, how cool would that be if you could somehow get some of the files? I don't know if you just have to make them yourself or what. And you could almost do like you're a miniature gamer and just make up your own scenarios and then print out the map. I mean, obviously you want to play on maps because, that's why we play this game. I do anyway. It's not just to play them on Vassal. But so anyway, he printed up a bunch of the maps. This is quite large. You know, you can tell by my huge hand how big the map is. They're different sizes. Turned out pretty good. Some are blown up hexes and some couple are, you know, not, depending on the size. They're all different sizes because it's just for fun. He said, he just asked that you promote them if you do them, play them and do all that stuff. So here I am playing them. Well, I don't know when I'll play this, but it's cool to have the map. All right, so this is Java 11. He calls them Java, I guess. I don't know why he calls them that, just for fun. I don't know. Anyway, just on Vassal. Anyway, Java 11. If you go to his site, he's got a ton, and he's got some that are not historic maps, I think, and he's got a bunch that, well, actually, I think they're all historic maps, but they're usually done in groups. Like he's got 3 or 4 about Barbarossa, for example, or a few about France 40, or things like that. So it's pretty cool. I think he has something he follows 29th Division. Anyway, some different divisions. Usually, often he follows, he's Canadian, obviously, and he follows Canadian divisions and formations, which is cool. They're getting some representation from somebody, so awesome. So he has a bunch. I was interested in their Battle of the Bulge, Market Garden, and France 40. But basically, so what I ended up with was 3 Market Gardens and France 40, and some of the others I couldn't print out. So I'll have to look at that and see if I can get someone to print it out for me here. So this is cool. And that way he didn't have to, you know, ship them or something. I just picked them up when I was there. This is a Java 11. It's Market Garden Driver Advance. And so this is the initial advance of the 30 core up. There's the woods. Go check out, you know, just for reference sake, it's not 100% accurate, of course. A bridge too far, and you can see that advance where the Shermans come and the Germans shoot them on the road and pre-preparatory barrage and all that. So that's that map. You can see how big it is. Basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 sheets of paper. If you, I mean, you know, folded. All right, so there's that. This is Zon Market Garden. So there's the bridge at Zon, or Zon. I've always enjoyed that scenario. I put it together in miniature before. There's an ASL starter kit scenario, and I'm sure there's regular ASL too. But you can tell this is smaller. The hexes are about the same size they are in real life. But there's the bridge. The Germans counterattack this way. There was an 88 facing. So I don't know. I think this is probably just a counterattack, I'm imagining. This is where there are some 88s facing this way, and airborne got it. And then the Germans counterattack. I'm not sure where the scenario takes place or which scenario. It was probably the counterattack. You could probably design something pretty easy on the attack. And since I did that miniature scenario, I could probably figure that out. So that's cool. The last one's going to be the last Market Garden, which is Eindhoven. I think it's called Scale That Bridge. I'll have to see what's up with that. So busy. Again, small, the regular size hexes, 2 bridges. Apparently Eindhoven. I don't know the orientation, but I haven't looked at it that closely yet. Some railroad tracks. Things like that. So you can kind of see how big it is. So it's all same sheets of paper, size of paper, different size. And then the last one is a big one, and this is France 40. And clever title, French Mustard, like you muster an army, Mustered. Bigger hexes. You can see how much bigger it is. It's near Cambria, which I guess this is supposed to be Cambria or something, or outskirts. And I can't tell you much about the scenario, but cool. And approximation of the area there. So that's that. That was cool. So thanks, Hexy, for getting those for me. Yeah, so cool. All right, let's look at the other haul of stuff, which was primarily books. And then when he taught me GBACW, he's got a binder thing with a little cover. I'm like, man, this is so great. I just don't know how much I would do it. But, you know, it might be worth doing instead of taking it to the place. But I did some math, and it's like it's cheaper to have them do it for me. But he's got so many books. I was super impressed with Hexy's. He has a great game collection. But the way he sorted it out, and it's really neat. You can see it in some of the pictures that are posted when I filmed in his place. Really great. And he's got so many of these. He's got them like sorted in a file folder. Very organized game stuff. Well done, Hexy. Anyway, he gave me this because he can just print up another one fairly easy. And that's great. And I appreciate him doing that and giving me give me the printed paper and the binding stuff. Then he's highlighted some of the stuff, which is cool. So this is the basic rules as of 2023, which that's the latest that's on the GMT site. I hope they don't update it after Stig's game come up. We really wanted Stigler's Sly Sword and Bayonet to be out. It's really close. People are getting it. And I've seen a video of it, but doggone it wasn't there. We really wanted to do a live unboxing together. That would have been fun. But thanks, Hexy, for that. So that's cool. This book was not provided. I mean, I already had this book, and I'm glad I almost bought something. I wait a minute, I've got this and arms of both sides. I got 3 books set that I bought, and I've done a video on this before. But I will just tell you, walking the battlefield really makes a difference. I mean, I know people have said that. I've known that, you know, when I walked Arnhem and stuff, it just really like, oh, okay. But I'll tell you what, man. So Kernstown, we went to 4, basically. Went to 4. And all of them, we could have spent more time. Even Kernstown, which is quite small, we could have spent way more time on. Like just looking at it, and you can see why. I'll show you a detailed book that I've got. You can see why you could just spend so much time focusing like in Gettysburg and Antietam and those, because they're very much bigger impact. Why people just dedicate so much time and energy studying it, because there's so many details. And the Gettysburg especially, so large of area of land that you, and Antietam really too, in my opinion, you can just walk the land and see it, and it's here, so it's easier to do. And Antietam especially, they've preserved a lot and got a lot of it held. Gettysburg, you can't walk a lot of the land. But we didn't see a bunch of it when we toured Gettysburg. Antietam, we didn't see a lot. And 3rd Winchester, we didn't see but maybe a third of it. And I don't even know if we saw all of Kernstown. I think we saw it, but we didn't walk it. Just amazing. And what's so cool is now when I look these battles up in here, of course, you know, I visited 4. I've Pea Ridge as well. And it just means so much more in the photos and the pictures. Let's see, I thought I saw, yeah, so, you know, the wheat field, the peach orchard. Oh, I've seen that stuff now. And the pictures of the, you know, Chamberlain. So, oh, that's something else we did. We watched 4-hour version of Gettysburg on Saturday as well. You know, Devil's Den and Little Round Top. I climbed that. You know, it's pretty freaking awesome. And the views and just understanding the lay of the land, it just means a lot. Now, the tour guide, of course, knew all this stuff. Jeff and Hexy and McMurray, they know all this stuff. They remember the names. It's freaking crazy. I'm like, how? But I started to slowly, you know, the more you read it, the more you study it. I think that guy looks like Jake Gyllenhaal. You just really start to understand like this, the first day, second day, third day. And I often would just look at these and they just don't mean much because I don't understand what I'm looking at. But it just starts to make more sense now. So that, if you can walk a battlefield, whatever battle you're interested in, like I'm World War II, so I'm like, man, it's hard to get over there. All right, books. I keep saying that and I keep stalling. I don't mean to do that. These were books given to me by Hexy. So Peninsula Campaign, these are covered in GCACW. Well, they're covered in a lot of stuff, obviously. But GCACW, but he gave these to me. So there's some nice reading. Thank you, sir. I did not get a book at Kernstown because I wasn't sure, and it was the very first thing we were doing. Was that the first thing we did? I'll have to think about that. But Kernstown, I did not get a book. But I did get one at about the 3rd Battle of Winchester. Now there's a bunch of battles. The little visitor center there at Winchester was incredible. Super nice. Well, everyone was nice at all the locations. You know, the Kernstown and Winchester are much smaller, so it's a way more personal feeling. Antietam and Gettysburg are very popular and, you know, just a bigger deal. So it's a much more, I don't know, professional, a little less personal, but super nice. Everyone's so friendly. And they're just excited to be there sharing the history. And the guy at all of them were nice. Kernstown, some younger guy there, that's nice. And the guy running Winchester was a younger guy, which is nice. Because a lot of the people there are, you know, 50s plus and all that, which is, I'm 55, so but it's just that who's interested. So it's just nice to see younger interest. But this, and we asked people's advice on books and stuff, and this was called out as a good one. The Last Battle of Winchester. I mean, look how thick this book is, and this is one battle. Now, I do wish maps, and I'm going to show you a bunch of maps that I have that are black and white, and it's an amazing book, but I do wish these could be in color. I understand, like that first book I showed you, but you know, it's just the Battle of Winchester. Obviously, it's very detailed. It's super thick. Let's see here. We got, well, it's with index and stuff, 550 pages plus. So good stuff. Covering a lot. There was 3 battles of Winchester, I think, in 1862 and then on. So pretty cool. And they had an amazing table that was terrain, the terrain of the area. So when it was just all the lights were on, it was just a white table with, you know, hills and all that. Another great 2mm table. So many great 2mm tables we saw. And then the lights went out and they put a video on top of it. And it was just a kind of it looked like one of these battle maps that I showed you, where it's the colors. And while the guy's narrating, it's like, and, you know, Sheridan and Jubal Early went here. And then they were showing like puffs of smoke and flame, and so good. And then showing pictures up on a TV screen above it of areas. It was similar to something I saw at Nijmegen, and it just really illustrates it great. I need to find that Nijmegen one. But they just really helped me to visualize the troop movement, what they're talking about. And what I was most shocked about Winchester, how much stuff happened in one day. As it was going, I'm thinking, oh, this is 2 or 3 days. You know, because sometimes I get lost in the details and I start to kind of zone out about where we are. It was an all-day battle, and so many things were coming in and out and back and forth, and I'm like, that's amazing. I'm surprised I don't hear more about this battle. It was the Union won quite handily. It was late in the war. Not handily, I'm sorry. It seemed to me to be a very strong Union victory. You know, but I was like, so maybe that's why it's not gamed as much, because it's kind of inevitable, maybe, type of thing, because it did seem like they really overwhelmed them at some point, but it took all day. So maybe there were some turning points, you know, that could have happened, but amazing. I love the look of this book. So, Last Battle of Winchester. So, there you go. Another humongous book here. All my books are huge. So, with all these things, this is 790, almost 800 pages. To Antietam Creek. Now, Jeff picked up D. Scott Hartwig's book about Antietam, and I have forgotten the name. I took a picture of it. Let's see if it's on the back here real quick here. Okay, it's not on here, so that book maybe hadn't come out. I think that was 2023. And this is a humongous, how does someone write a book like, oh, this is 2012. I think that book that Jeff got was 2023. So this, whatever, you know, and his was hard copy. I almost got that one, but I decided I wanted a better understanding of the Maryland campaign, which is also in GCACW. But look at this book. It's crazy, but it covers a lot about Antietam. So this was one that's a little different than buying, but it covers it and it gives me some context. That's one thing I was looking for, a little bit of just context. Apparently Scott Hartwig is the man for it, so that's interesting. So it'll be interesting to compare. I thought I hadn't doubled up on my books. I'm going to have to start keeping track of that and keeping track of my books better. But pretty awesome. Again, you can imagine what this made. I love the drawings from the era. This is one of the first battles with a lot of photography, so that's cool. Good maps, of course. Do wish they were in color. But then I can support it with this colored illustrated atlas of the Civil War, right? Now the interesting thing is there's not a lot of maps and photos. This is hardcore detail. This guy, D. Scott Hartwig, apparently, because Jeff's book is this size in hardback about Antietam only. So pretty cool. I'm excited about that one too. Oh, gee, many Christmas. Just holding it, it's amazing. All right, now this last book is probably the most amazing thing, and I wish I could get this in, I don't know, a few World War II battles. Now I know there are books like this, but so this was suggested by a tour guide. because the tour guides and not scholars is not the word he used. What's the other tour guides? Who are the other teams? Anyway, he put out an edition a long time ago, and then he did a revised. I think this might be the third revised, and he had a bunch of people kind of look at it, provide insight, proofing it, and then he made those changes. And I'm not going to be able to get into all the detail of this thing. Campaign analysis or atlas, 444 maps. And then, so it's the approach to Gettysburg. So it's, like it says, the Gettysburg campaign, which, I should say, while McMurray and I were driving, we, the only problem with these things is that it comes out of that last thing. Here's the table of contents. So this, and it's funny it didn't have a title here, but this is the approach to the March to Gettysburg. So that goes 17 through 86, through 86, through 91 really, because the footnotes. And then they covers each day in like volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, and maybe probably an aftermath. Just again, there's second, so this would only have first and second Winchester, Brandy Station, Bull Run Mountains, Upperville, June dates, Pike Creek, and then, so these are all the table of contents, the retreat and pursuit. So broad, and then you start to get down into like zooming in, and then really zooming in on stuff. It's insane. And so what I was doing was, I'm sorry, I interrupted myself. That's hilarious. McMurray and I listened to Gettysburg by, I think it's Stephen Sears. Very good book. We didn't finish it. I thought we might, because it was only 21 hours and we drove 24 plus, but we didn't listen to it the whole time. We talked and whatever. But so I thought, man, I need to have this book while I'm listening to Sears, but I'm driving, so I can't really do it. So today, while I was eating my lunch, I listened to it and tried to find it. So we're on day 3. It's a little tough, but I'm learning a little bit more about it. What was so cool is that it's really, he zooms out and then he zooms in. He zooms out, zooms in. And then at some point you get, so day 3, he starts to, I knew I should have marked these pages here. So Pickett's charge. All right, so he does this kind of stuff. Well, look how zoomed in that is. And so he'll compare, and it'll be the different locations of like the guns. And that was one thing I was noticing is he was talking about the shifting of the guns. And so you start to see that, and sometimes he takes the artillery off. And then you start to understand like why troops are placed where they are. I'm trying to find, so hilarious. I was just, this is, narrating as they're marching in. And it's fun to listen to that book and kind of watch along with the maps. And like he names all the leaders and locations. Like Garnett, I was looking at some other maps and saw he came from way over here. And then he kind of came up here, and they're talking about the obliques and doing all that. Kind of checking you out through day to day. Okay, so here it is. So there's a bunch of pages like this where it's so here's who's opposing them, but it's way over here on the map, and here's who's opposing them way over on the map. So you can't look at them zoomed in. So there's a bunch of gap here in the middle, but he's zoomed in and said, okay, here's where they were, and then here's who's going to face them. So, and you can see where their artillery is. And then the thing I started to notice, because I just happened to see a name, like Cohen, if that's how you pronounce it, in another map several pages back, he's down here somewhere. And then you see that he moves up here, and then pages later you see where he placed himself, which was here. And I'm like, it's just really cool to sit there and think about it. And just, especially as you're listening to a book and just seeing all the little movements that were made. And then also thinking as it from kind of a war game perspective, like, okay, well, what's happening there? Was that, and then was it a right move? Seeing how they position troops to kind of guard the flanks of the guns. And I'm like, man, you could really get some cool details because it's real easy to just kind of look at this and go like, what am I looking at? You just really have to spend some time. And then there's these nice descriptions under here about what's going on. And so the tour guide said, this and the, oh my gosh, what is the name of there was a paper and studies done just months or a couple years after it. The historian just wrote all the veterans and talked to them and made notes, and it's kind of the Bible for them. And they said this is another kind of supplementary Bible for tour guides and historians of Gettysburg, because you can be out there, standing out there, and now it's cool. I've been there. I could say, oh yeah, I did see that. And there's some things that I'm like, wait, did I see that? I do wish it was a little easier to tell some things, differentiate either by color or some things. It's just because I'm not knowledgeable on it. People like McMurray and Hexie and others just pick it out, what's going on. The other cool thing I thought, I'm not going to spend time you having to look at it, but kind of an index back here. Well, it's an index. Oh yeah, well, let's look at that. So all the orders of battle. And so you can see like the 2nd Mississippi Infantry, H Corps, or like what corps they belong to, the commanders, their strength, and then their percentage casualties. Look at 47% strength, 492 going into it. So you get all those numbers. Yeah, 82%. And that was from the 2nd North Carolina Infantry. Now this was interesting. Oh, I'm zoomed in a lot, so let's zoom out. He has Fance, which is a author that you see a lot of. I'm sure these other guys are too, Lash, Taylor, and Martin. About Ramser's attack on Oak Ridge. I thought this was pretty cool because they just have some slight discrepancies about where people are. And so that's pretty cool that he says, well, this is how he interprets it. I don't know how they all interpret it, and you can compare it to his notes and kind of see, because you're reading papers, history, and so it's cool to me that he gives them credence. Like, okay, they interpret it this way, and I interpret it this way. So, I mean, it's so funny how we really want things to be 100% accurate. It's like, I don't know, man. This was 100 plus years, If you can kind of triangulate what's going on here, and it's at some point you're kind of, you're kind of looking navel gazing, like if you're like, oh, he's the right one. It's like, I mean, unless it makes some huge, colossal difference. I think it's cool that he gives some credence, gives them some voice here, so you can kind of see and kind of like, oh, okay. I mean, they're not that far off. I mean, I haven't looked at it in detail, but anyway, I thought that was cool. And I don't know what else, I'm sure it's, alternate maps. So it's a few others. And I'm sure he tells you what, just depending on how you read it, who you read, because, people's memories, not the greatest. Anyway, amazing book. McMurray, I got a kind of a permanent hold for McMurray if he ever wants to use it, because scenarios galore, for one. And also just double checking work and all that stuff about that. All right, I've gone on. It was an amazing trip. Thanks to Hexie for hosting. Thanks to McMurray for driving over there with me. And we drove that last day all in one day, which is pretty much 14 hours on the road. That's a lot. It was kind of weird when I got back. It was like, it's kind of surreal. Like, wait, we drove all that time. The weather and the traffic was, the weather was great, really. Oh, and the weather during the whole thing was great. We saw clear weather, and then as we approached, man, it was rain. We did get rain in the afternoons, but we were done by then. We had amazing days. Got a little hot on the second Winchester, and that was the end. I kind of wish we would have done Winchester first and then Kernstown. I think that would be one thing we'd change, but fine. We would have been able to walk more of Winchester, and Kernstown's so small that we kind of, we went in order. And what was also cool is Jeff hadn't seen, I don't think Jeff had been to Antietam, Kernstown, or Winchester. So he opened his eyes and went to some new things too. So that was cool too. What was the thing? Oh, the weather was amazing. Jeff's hosting was amazing. Thanks, Hexie. What else? Traffic. I mean, the drive back was incredibly, except for a couple towns, incredibly light on traffic, and the weather just rained on us in the edge of St. Louis, and it wasn't bad. We did get pretty hard. So I'd say the drive there was harder because we had a lot more traffic in one place, like an hour almost kind of slow down, and then heavy, heavy rains. Beautiful country. I'm just amazed. I mean, a lot of the states are very similar to Missouri and Kansas, which I'm used to. But then just the hills and the mountains. We're in West Virginia and Pennsylvania. And when we went through, let's see how many states we were in. We were in Missouri. We were in Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and then we went back and forth to Indiana, Ohio. So that's 4. And then we went through Pennsylvania, Maryland, West Virginia, Virginia. I don't think that's all. So 8 states. Stepped foot in, walked around 8 states. Pretty awesome. I didn't know Maryland was going to be a part of it. Thanks all for sticking with me. Amazing. Can't wait to the next adventure. We'll see you.